In this video, we're going to take a look at setting up the Akai MPK Mini MK3 model within Studio One 7. Now, we're on the start page here, and towards the center at the bottom, we have Configure External Devices. So we can click on this and set everything up within this window right on the start page, but I'm actually going to create a song and we're going to take a look at it there. So I'll click on New. Let's press Enter. And we will press Control and comma to bring up our options menu. This may start on the General tab for you, but you just want to be sure that you select External Devices here. Now, the first thing that we want to do is come to the Add button here at the bottom left. I'll go ahead and click on that. On the left-hand side, we have a list of manufacturers, including Akai at the top here. And if I expand this folder out, we can see that we have an MPK Mini here. But I would not recommend using this preset that's available for us. And we'll just take a quick look at why. So if we come to the receive from, this is the most important. I have already connected my MPK Mini with USB. Windows gave the notification sound that it was recognized. That's important. If you don't hear that, this setup process may not work for you. So I'm going to select the MPK Mini 3. Again, we're using the preset that comes with Studio One. I'll click on OK, then OK. Let's come to our instruments and the PreSonus, and I'm going to bring in a My Tai. Let's close out our browser. I'm going to press Shift and E to make our track zoom in on that vertically a bit. Now at this point I can press the keys and we're going to get sound back. I can even press the pads. So the drum pads are triggering our device, the keys are triggering our device. However, if I click on this gear icon and we will come to this area here where it says control, I'll click on that downward facing arrow if I can. Okay, and then here we have our MPK Mini. And we can see that the rotary encoders or the knobs have been added for us with that preset that we chose. However, when I turn the knobs, we can see that the information is coming in here to the track, to the instrument track, but it's not actually moving these knobs. And we don't have a MIDI learn button to correct the issue or add them. So this is one of the reasons why I say not to use the preset that comes with Studio One if you're using the MK3 model of the MPK Mini in particular. If you're using an older one, this one may work for you. So we're just going to go ahead and add this manually. So I'm going to come to this and let's come to the setup. Actually, let's cancel out of there. We'll close out of this window. And I'm going to press Control and comma again. And we will select the MPK Mini. Anytime you'd like to remove an external device, just click once to select it. And then we can select Remove at the bottom here. So now I'm going to click on Add. And the MPK Mini is still in there, but I want to choose New Keyboard up at the top. So we'll come to the right, and let's populate this with the manufacturer name, Akai, and then the device name is going to be the MPK Mini MK3. Okay, now by default, all of our MIDI channels are going to be selected. I'd recommend leaving all of these selected, leaving it as it is, unless you're doing something very particular. And for instance, with the MK3, the keys are being sent, when you play the keys, that MIDI data is being sent over channel 1. When you use the pads, though, that information is being sent on channel 10. So if channel 10 were deselected for whatever reason and you try to trigger instruments with the pads, it's not going to work. So I'll just leave this as it is. We'll come to the receive from, and since I already have my MPK connected via USB, it's showing up here. I'll go ahead and select that. You don't need to install any software for that because it's class compliant. It just shows up here. We don't need to worry about the send to. Some external instruments will have pads or buttons that will light up and change colors based on the colors that we change within Studio One. But the Akai does not have that feature, so we'll just leave this blank with none. We can split our channels, have the MPK be the default instrument whenever we bring in a plug-in instrument. We can enable MP3, send the MIDI clock, and so on down here. I wouldn't worry about these so much. So we'll go ahead and click on OK, and we'll click on OK here. Now this should still trigger if I play the keys. And our pads. So both of these are working as before. But we still have this panel open. Again, we can view that by clicking on the gear icon and coming here. We can see our MPK Mini MK3. That's what I label it as. And then we can open up this external devices window for setting up our external device further. And just know that we can also open up to the mix console in the bottom right. If I click on mix, we have this external devices button. So if I click on that, we can see all of the external devices that are connected to our computer. And if I come to the MPK3, I can come to setup and view the initial setup and access that at any point. Or I can come to the edit and we have the same edit window. Okay, so we know our keys and pads are working, but we have 8 encoders and 16 pads, 8 pads, 2 banks that we can also use to control various parameters within Studio One and our third-party plugins. So look, we need to go ahead and add those encoders and pads within this edit window. Now I'm going to hover in the bottom right-hand corner. We have those double arrows. I'll click hold and just make this a little bit bigger. And then I'm going to click on the MIDI learn. And then I'm going to start with the top row of encoders on the left. I'm going to start turning the first one. And then that populates because we have our MIDI learn active. I'll move on to the second one, turn that, the third, the fourth. Now I'm going to move to the second row. Okay, so now we have our 8 encoders added, but I'd also like to use the pads, the drum pads, to control parameters within Studio One and plugins. So what I need to do is press the CC button on the MPK Mini, and that's going to change the mode for the drum pads. They're no longer going to send in node information, node on, node off. They're going to send in CC. So I'll go ahead and activate that CC button, and I'm starting on bank A, and I'm going to start with the pad at the top on the left. And I'm just going to press that. Now we can see that that's populated here. I'll move on to the second, third, fourth. Now I'm going to press the bank AB button to switch to bank B. And again, I'm going to start at the top left. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that's our second bank of 8 pads. Now I'm sure you've noticed that the pads are being added as knobs, and that's not right. So we need to change that. So I'm going to right click on this and then change this to button press and release, because these buttons function as press and release, the pads, the drum pads. Now if you had buttons that when you press it, it illuminates and stays illuminated, then you may want to choose on off, because that functions as an on off button, but these are press and release. So we'll right click, press and release, and then I'll go ahead and change all of these, and we'll be back in just a moment. Okay, so all the pads have been changed to function as a button, but we can see down at the very bottom we have CC21, CC22 for all of our pads. This doesn't really help us to identify what they are when we want to assign them to a parameter in Studio One. So what I'm going to do is come up with my own naming scheme that will help me know what they are. So we'll start with the first pad for bank A, and I'm going to click once here, and I'm going to just type in BA for bank A and P for pad and 1. So bank A, pad 1. This will be bank A, pad 2, bank A, pad 3. And so I'm going to go ahead and continue to label these on, and we'll be back in just a moment. Okay, so now all of the pads or buttons are labeled here, bank A, pad 1 through 8. And then these are bank B, pad 1 through 8. And at this point, I'm going to exit out of the MIDI learn. And then if I turn the encoders on my controller, we can see I'm turning the first encoder. These are all working properly so far here. So let's go ahead and close out this edit window, and we'll come to our My Tie. I'll click on the Show Device. And then here, let's be sure that this gear icon is checked. And when I turn the encoder 1, we can see that that populates in this field. And if I click on the cutoff, we can see that that populates here. And I can click on this arrow, and then now the encoder 1 is connected with our cutoff. And so this is going to remain until you specifically remove it by clicking here. And now we can see I'm turning the control 1 or encoder 1. It's no longer affecting our cutoff. So even if you create a new song and bring in a MiTi, this connection is still going to remain. If you were to bring in a third-party instrument, and let's say we'll bring in a Hive, and again we will click on the gear icon here. I'm going to click on the cutoff. Okay, so now that's populated here. I'm going to turn encoder 1, which we had assigned to the cutoff on the MiTi. But you'll see, once I make the assignment here, I can now control the cutoff for our third-party Hive instrument as well. And then when I come back to the MiTi, that still functions here. So the assignments that we make can be for multiple instruments, and they will remain for every new song that we create until we come in specifically and deselect here. Now, if you have any issues with making these assignments, you may want to double check on this here. This determines the external device that's in focus, the focus device. And if we click on that, we can change the focus device there. So if you want to make assignments with the MPK Mini, just be sure that it's selected here and that this is yellow. Now, what about the buttons or the drum pads and using those? So this is going to be the same. Right now we have the encoder 1 or control 1. If I were to press pad 1 for bank A, and this is why I came up with that naming scheme, because I understand what this is, bank A, pad 1, and say I choose the mono button here, and I want to assign that pad 1 there, I can click, and then I can toggle by using pad 1, the drum pad 1, I can toggle between mono and poly. So that's just an example of how you can use the drum pads to affect parameters within Studio One or even your third-party instruments and effects. Now we can also assign macros to the buttons as well. So we will come here to this drop-down menu and let's select our MPK Mini to bring up the edit window again. We'll close out the MiTi for now. So maybe I'll come to pad 2 in bank A and let's right click and we can choose to assign command. And then here we have our select command dialog. And so we can just scroll down to find a particular command. So let's just say toggle bend markers. I'll choose OK. And we're going to need an audio file. I'll bring that in. Now I'm going to press pad 2. And we can see that that toggles the view for our bend markers. Now I haven't added any bend markers. But if I come to the bend tool here and start adding, well, we don't see them. I can press pad 2. And then now just be sure that that event is highlighted so that the action will apply to it. And we can toggle between showing and hiding those bend markers. And let's close out our browser, come back to the mix, and let's come to this and choose the edit because I just want to show how we can remove that, because we can see the command that was assigned here. If we right click, then we can choose to unassign that command like so. And we can also expand this window out a bit to make that a bit more visible and find anything that we'd like to assign to our pads. Okay, so this has been a look at setting up the MPK Mini within Studio One 7. I hope it's been helpful. If you have any questions, you can leave them in the comment section below, and I'll do my best to respond. Also, I do provide one-on-one training with Studio One via Zoom, and you can actually share your screen with me in the meeting, and then I can guide you through whatever features and concepts you'd like to learn within Studio One or any issues that you may be having, and I can help you resolve those. The meeting can also be recorded so that you have a video file for reference. So there will be more information about that in the pinned comment below or the description area of this video. Other than that, thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next tutorial.